In Germany, we have a saying. Der DFB-Pokal hat seine eigenen Gesetze.
It's Fortuna Düsseldorf against Freiburg. Well, football can be a cruel sport, and just 2 seasons ago, Fortuna were a penalty shootout away from winning promotion to the Bundesliga, but they lost an agonising playoff against Bochum on spot kicks. And there was also dramatic heartbreak at the end of last season as well. They were relegated from Bundesliga 2. Let's take a look at some of the results we've had elsewhere. Mainz comfortably through against Krzysztof. Union Berlin won a thriller at Eintracht Braunschweig. Darmstadt with a narrow victory at Carl Zeiss Jena. Bochum edging through against Greuther Fürth as well. Probably the biggest shock, actually, Heidenheim going down 5-2 at Jedelo's second team. We'll take a look at games happening in this time slot. Rot-Weiss Essen looking to cause an upset against St. Pauli. Phoenix Lübeck up against Paderborn, who've just been promoted to the Bundesliga. It's always fascinating, this round of the DFB Pokal. So many shocks. The big guns have to play away. That's such an intriguing part of it. Freiburg have been used to getting their own way in this competition in recent years. Semi-finalists at least in 3 of the past 5 seasons. But for Fortuna Düsseldorf, this is all about trying to get their season up and running. 2 defeats in 2 in the 3rd tier so far. It's an emotional day for that man, Dominic Heinz, coming up against Freiburg, a club that he spent a few years with. He's a Freiburg player for 4 seasons. He is one of the most experienced players in the squad. Pledged eternal love to Fortuna. And he also said Seite an Seite, immer nach vorn. Side by side, always forward. They do. An upset against Freiburg last season in the 2nd round, beaten 3-1 here. They will hope for better this time around. So Fortuna Düsseldorf in need of a good luck story, in need of a pick-me-up. Tumbled into the 3rd tier last season against all expectations. He has a point to prove, and his opposite number, Julian Schuster, has worked wonders. Let's take a look at and turn them around quickly. Freiburg hoping for another deep run in the DFB Pokal. Fortuna in the white and red, Freiburg in their chain strip. Just a few years ago, this would have been a game in the Bundesliga. And in recent years, Fortuna Düsseldorf have fallen on hard times, dropping from the top tier to the third tier. Same spell, Freiburg have been regular European qualifiers. They've had some great runs in this competition. Semi-finalists at least in 3 of the last 5 seasons, and they've won an early free kick here. On a fairly warm day. Bester brought down there. A clumsy challenge by Yassine Bouchama. Referee Robert Hartmann on the scene quickly. They have some excellent set-piece deliverers in this team, Freiburg. They've got Niklas Bester. They've also got Vincenzo Grifo. So often a threat from this kind of scenario. Indeed, Bester and Grifo who have stood over this. Some players up. Back in by Makengo. Freiburg trying to set the tone early on. Completely rebuild the squad after suffering relegation. 16 new signings. They sold or released 24 players. Has support, but couldn't find it. Makengo, to his credit, had the wherewithal to go back and win it. It's a DFB Pokal debut for the man on the ball. Season was one of the most extraordinary in Freiburg's history. They reached the semi-finals of this competition, got to the Europa League final before losing. It's really for the Fortuna fans to get behind their team. Comfortably away. Makengo should complete the clearance, but doesn't. There's Bouchama. Targets to aim for in the penalty area. Hartmann. One man in the box to aim for there. That's Alexander Ender, the coach of Fortuna Düsseldorf, said it's so important to start the game well, get a good feeling. It's maximum energy today. Hot man, and free kick is given. Schleusener trying to hold his position. He's fought his way up the divisions in German football, Fabian Schleusener. Said at the start of my career I was always under the radar, I was never at the Bundesliga Youth Academy, never got a trial. Whenever I played for regional teams, I always did really badly. So as a teenager, I was never the biggest, never the quickest, and I developed late, but stuck it out, and here he is. Hendricks with the delivery again. Space for the shot, and he got right underneath it there. Tim Oberdorf, the centre-back, not a regular goal scorer. Found a pocket of space there and struck it well. This is 149th game for Fortuna. He's only ever scored 5 times for the club. Alexander Ender was full of praise for Freiburg ahead of the game. He said they've gotten used to playing games every few days. Everyone can see what they've achieved in recent seasons. He said it's not a bonus game for us, it's a really important chance to push ourselves forward. It's a rather awkward one for Zimmermann, but he did well. Here's Louis Lord, who's making his debut for Fortuna this evening, 22 years of age. From Erzgebirge Aue. Spell at a lower level last season on loan with Stuttgarter Kickers. Does have first-team experience. Matthias Ginter, who scored twice against Motherwell, including a penalty, and by his own admission, he was a bit shocked by scoring the first brace of his long and distinguished career. 51 caps for Germany, 28 for Freiburg today. He's a man of Freiburg, came through the academy. It's his second spell with the club. It's Kubler. It's a good delivery and good intervention in the end. Had to be. Marcel Benger. Freiburg can bring that quality to bear from set plays. Julian Schuster, the coach of Freiburg, worked wonders in these couple of seasons. Lester's delivery, there was a real crowd there. Osterhager's effort rather dragged. That's awkward, and Lord did well. Moved his feet to deal with the danger. Ginter denied. It's a great ball in initially. Osterhager made a bit of a mess of that, but was kept alive, and Lord backpedaled well. It's dangerous. It's only half away. It's all a bit of a mess. Fortuna survive. Freiburg have actually been struggling away from home of late. They've lost 8 of their last 12 competitive away games, including 5 of the last 6. So the win at Motherwell was a welcome boost on the road. They're very strong at Europa Park Stadion. On the road, it's a bit more of a mixed bag. Backhouse. It's a good leap by Hendricks. This was the save by Louis Lord. It was a surprise to see him in the starting 11. An eye-catching signing in goal in the summer did Fortuna when they brought in Lasse Rees from Mainz. Letting the play go, but does give the free kick. Bushama was brought down. Backhouse, the goalkeeper who's played youth football both for Japan and Germany. Recently for Germany. Faces a test here. In by Rich. It's a good delivery, and Schleusner didn't really make meaningful contact there. Freiburg haven't lost the first round tie in the DFB Pokal for a long time. You have to go back to 2011. The last time it happened, when they were dumped out by Unterhaching. And by Makengo. It's over the head of Hurler. It's Ginter. Too flat. Sent away by Dominic Heinz on that occasion. There's Osterhagen. Tidy. Grifo. Fantastic noise around this stadium. In with real quality, and it's a fine header. Had to be. Marcel Benga, not for the first time, having to intervene. Vincenzo Grifo to deliver. It's towards Lienhardt at that near post. Nice control second time around. Away by Heinz. It's by Bushama. It's by Schleusner to chase. Deciding Schleusner is a little overzealous in his challenge. Difficult to argue. Scored in his debut for Fortuna this season. Moved from Karlsruhe in the summer. He's 34 now, Schleusner. Bester. Really caught the eye of Heidenheim, Niklas Bester, a couple of seasons ago. A move to Benfica that didn't really work out. Turned to German football with Freiburg. The key players for Heidenheim as they finished 8th in their first ever season in the Bundesliga. Minutes gone and no damage done from Fortuna's point of view. They're holding the Bundesliga team at arm's length. It's Makengo. patient. Ginter has won this tournament with Borussia Dortmund. Matthias Ginter. He's played over 400 Bundesliga matches, and this is his 250th game for Freiburg in all competitions. Clever from Grifo. Osterhager on the turn. Did well to dig the cross out, and a fine finish from Lukas Höhler. One of the Freiburg veteran strikes. It's a goal you feel has been coming. Freiburg have dominated possession, and it is Lukas Höhler with his 50th Freiburg goal. Well, he worked it so well. Osterhager did brilliantly to keep this in. And Höhler on the move, not tracked, finds the finish. We've not created many clear-cut chances, but they've been on the front foot from the get-go. And Lukas Höhler has his 6th career goal in the DFB Pokal. Once scored a winner against Bayern in this competition. What a week he's had. Father once again in midweek, and scores the opener. It's Fortuna Düsseldorf. Rather static defending from Fortuna. I have to give Osterhager enormous credit for the way that he got that ball in. Can't deliver it. For the first time, all a bit messy, but Heinz able to clear. Müller keeping the move alive, but every time Fortuna threatened to counter, Freiburg managed to win the ball back. Makengo. Freiburg weren't regular scorers in the Bundesliga last season. They had the worst attack in the top 8. 51 goals in 34 matches. Habit of turning tight games their way. Have the taste for a second here. There's a recognition that this is a tie that's there to be won early. It's the team low on confidence. 20 minutes that have belonged to Freiburg. Here's Osterhager, formerly on the books of Borussia Dortmund. There's also a Werder Bremen without really making a breakthrough. Freiburg are so good at that, finding players that didn't quite make it at a higher level within the top flight, but have quality. Kengo looking for Suzuki. Fortuna chasing shadows at the moment. Repeating that Freiburg won 3-1 here in round 2 last season. Came here with confidence. Lienhardt's throw. Played by Hotman. In by Makengo. Schleusener's clearance. Fortuna just cannot get possession at the moment. It's best. Hendricks in the thick of things. First yellow card of the evening is shown. Clear grab by Suzuki. Wasn't going to allow Hendricks to get away there. It's been a big hit since coming in from Danish football, Yuito Suzuki. Signed from Brøndby. 9 goals in all competitions last season. Just need a spark here, Fortuna. It's Matthias Zimmermann, 253rd game for Fortuna this evening. Man did well to keep that move alive. It's going to be a corner. Stein frustrated. Alexander Ender wanted a really strong start to the game. He didn't get that from his team. They have at least rallied to some extent. Sasha Risch to take the corner. Former Freiburg youth player. Setting it up second time around. Away by Kubler. The greatest day of his career in the second leg of the Europa League semi-final last season. Lukas Kubler, when he scored twice in the second leg to send Freiburg through. Hendricks again with the long throw, and the free kick goes Freiburg's way. Let's look at the goal again from Herler. He's on the move. They just do not track him. Inside and then outside. And Dominic Heinz, his former teammate, left flat-footed. It was his man. He scored 6 career goals in the DFB Pokal, Lukas Herler. 4 of them have been in round 1. Here's Bushama. No way through against Makengo. Beaten here 2-0 by Hoffenheim's second team last time out, Fortuna. There's always likely to be a period where they found cohesion hard to come by. They've made so many new signings. It's what you often see when a big traditional club drops into the third tier, that a lot of players have to leave as a result of that relegation. But then you get a lot of players that do want to play for that club. It's a real honour to play for Fortuna Düsseldorf. They're a big hitter in German football. It's always going to take a coach a while to get things to gel. Here's Sasha Risch. Just came in from Dynamo Dresden. Shama beaten to it. Just struggling to keep any kind of meaningful possession so far. It's well tidied up by Andreas Müller. Several players have come in from Karlsruhe in the summer. who went through to round 2 on Friday with a comeback victory at Preußen Münster. Such a calmness to Freiburg's play, even under pressure. They always feel there's an option for the man on the ball. Can play through those waves of pressure. Opens up spaces. Eggestein, that's lovely. And Suzuki is wonderfully denied by Louis Lord. Sensational save. It's a gorgeous move. Eggestein with a feather-light pass. And Suzuki took the low road. I thought he might try and lift that, but the young debutant made a fantastic stop. Rifo's delivery. Goalkeeper did well under pressure. It's come for Osterhage. Charged down by Müller. He's arguably just kept his team in the tie. It's towards Höhler. Won the header, but nobody coming in. He was highly rated earlier on in his career, Louis Lord. He was on the books of Werder Bremen at one stage. He's had to go the long way round. Still only 22. Here's Heinz. Now Risch. Or it's Hendricks. Not suspended for this, even though he was sent off last weekend. Wenger. Given away cheaply, and this is where Freiburg can come alive. Bester was trying to stay onside desperately. Ball never reached him. Ticking towards the half-hour mark, and his team is still in it. Have been the inferior team so far. Schuster was talking about his team's packed schedule. Said we know from last season how to balance competitions. That's an advantage. Helps that we won on Thursday against Motherwell, so we take a positive feeling into this game. We've got the reverse against Motherwell in the Conference League on Thursday in the Black Forest, and got a Bundesliga game on Sunday. Such is the price of success. If they do make it through to the Conference League, they'll be one of the favourites to lift that trophy, which for anyone who's watched or covered German football for a long time will still find that amazing, given the rise of Freiburg in the last few years. It's been superbly run. It's Kubler. Höhler on the move. Always a willing runner, Lukas Höhler. He's not the most regular goal scorer. He's not the most spectacular player, although he does score some amazing goals, but he will always run, always chase, always work. Forced Tim Oberdorf into action there. Enhanced delivery. Half away. Heinz with the header. Free kick. Stein made no real attempt to get out of the way there. 215th game for Freiburg today. The skipper, 10 years he spent at Werder Bremen. Sasha Risch has a problem here. Didn't look like a lot of fun. Sasha Risch just waiting to come back on. Of course, if you get treatment, you do have to wait for a minute until you can come back on. Part of the slew of new directives brought in to try and speed up the game. It's Fortuna's first appearance in the DFB Pokal as a third-tier club since 2004. It's so used to operating in the top two divisions, been in the top two levels for the last 17 years. Schleusner, the last man, applauds the intention of the pass. A bit early. Freiburg have never won a major trophy, but they did get to the final of this competition in 2022. They suffered an agonising penalty shootout defeat to RB Leipzig in Berlin. Defeat in the Europa League final was rather more clear-cut. Well beaten by Premier League Aston Villa. If you've said to Freiburg fans 6 or 7 years ago, going to be involved in 2 major finals in the next few years, I'm not sure many would have believed you. Here's Suzuki. It's a good challenge. That got the fans going. Very neat and tidy, that from Oberdorf. Here's Hendricks. They have had some neat and tidy spells, Fortuna, without really posing much of a threat. Lost here against Hoffenheim's second team and are losing again here. Fortuna's home form in the calendar year is not actually that bad. They've won 5 of their last 9 games here. And home fans weren't happy about that. I believe Backhouse shouldn't have been able to claim that. Relies on Robert Hartmann, who saw no case to answer. view, presumably, was that it was the attacker who played the ball, and I think he's got some justification for that. Schleusener got there first. And that's why the back pass didn't come into effect. Ginter wanted the free kick, and he gets the free kick. Feel the frustration building at the Merkur Spiel Arena. Backhouse, the goalkeeper of Freiburg, has been drastically underemployed from Fortuna's point of view. It's been a fairly serene Pokal debut for him. Fantastic run by Lienhardt, and he's found Makengo. It slipped a bit, but was able to clear. By Zimmermann towards Schleusener. It's well won by Höhler, who's looking for Niklas Bester. It's loose from Kubler. Hendricks was onto it, and then pass lacked precision. He was looking for Schleusener. It's been the issue, really. Too many passes have gone astray. Just lacked a bit of quality in the final third. Fortuna Düsseldorf. Schuster, the coach of Freiburg, played for the club from 2008 to 2018 and then stayed on in various roles until taking a job as the long-serving Christian Streik's assistant. Streik stood down after 488 matches at the helm in 2024. Schuster was given the nod to replace him. It has worked perfectly. It's been a seamless transition. The likes of Arsene Wenger and Sir Alex Ferguson to Freiburg, that was Christian Streik. So massive shoes to fill. Schuster's been able to do just that. Challenged by Risch. Just to break up that Freiburg possession. Taking towards the final 5 in the first half. Just the one goal in it, Lukas Höhler, and while it's still 1-0, Fortuna are in the game, but even the most ardent of Fortuna fans struggle to argue their team hasn't been dominated. A team that's got used to winning in recent seasons. Kengo from Auxerre 5 years ago. 79th game for Freiburg this evening. The flag does go up against Höhler. There's a sharp intake of breath from the fair few Fortuna fans here. It was tight. VAR at this stage of the DFB Pokal. Remarkably, Fortuna were a few penalty kicks away from winning promotion to the Bundesliga 2 seasons ago. They were 3-0 up from the first leg of their promotion playoff against Bochum. They collapsed to a 3-0 defeat here in the second leg. lost on penalties after suffering that disappointment, and then went down from Bundesliga 2 last term. They were beaten 3-0 at Greuther Fürth, their direct rivals on the final day, and went down on goal difference. Had they suffered a less damaging defeat, might have stayed up. Oberdorf in the way again. A decent first half. Tim Oberdorf. Sister Lena Oberdorf is one of the most notable players in German women's football. By Bester. It's a good leap again. This time by Marcel Benger. Bushama protesting his innocence. It's not a significant touch, but it is a touch. It was enough for Robert Hartmann. Vincenzo Grifo conjure up here. Second goal before half-time would be significant. It's Grifo up but not really away by Hendricks, kept alive by Eggestein. Scramble a fair bit in their own penalty area, Fortuna. Eggestein's delivery. Throw. Bushama's header was a bit loose there. Hurler trying to keep the pressure on. Well, they haven't gone on to concede the second goal, Fortuna. If they can get through to half-time, just 1-0 down, it at least gives Alexander Ender the opportunity to tweak a few things. There's no doubt that Freiburg have played with calm and control from the get-go. Space for Lienhardt, formerly of Real Madrid, Philip Lienhardt. In by Grifo, goalkeeper comes, goalkeeper gets. He's played well. Left exposed by his defenders for the goal. Hasn't done much wrong, Louis Lord. First minute of stoppage time. Oberdorf. Risch. It's better from Fortuna. Front line have been starved of service, really. Schleusner and Hotman have living off scraps, in truth. Hendricks to Risch. Hendricks, who had 17 years on the books of PSV Eindhoven. Boy, won the Eredivisie 3 times. Did play for the Netherlands at senior level on one occasion. So Player of real pedigree. Nice turn by Hurler. That's opened things up for Lukas Hurler. They've got numbers forward here, and Osterhager draws a comfortable save from Louis Lord. You can see what he was trying to do. Just trying to bend it beyond the young goalkeeper. So Fortuna Düsseldorf, even though they've been outplayed in the first half, are still in this. The only goal so far coming from Lukas Hurler. His 50th goal in all competitions for Freiburg in his career. His strike, the difference so far. Fortuna have found it difficult to really lay a glove on the Bundesliga team. But while it remains 1-0, Fortuna still in it. Half-time, Fortuna 0, Freiburg 1. At these statistics, and Freiburg dominating in terms of shots, in terms of XG. They've had more possession, they've had more corners. Fortuna have found it really difficult to get any kind of momentum in the game so far, and that clearances stat tells you a lot as well. 11 clearances to 1. Freiburg have played with real calm, real precision. They are ahead on most of the metrics so far. Fortuna have been forced to be physical so far. 7 fouls committed in that first half. So Freiburg with the only goal of the game so far. Lukas Hurler created another massive chance with Suzuki, who was denied by a brilliant save from the young debutant Louis Lord in the Fortuna goal. Freiburg, by the metrics, should maybe be further in front, but as it stands, the third tier team is still in this first round tie in the DFB Pokal. So the moment of the half, and it won't surprise you that it was the goal, and it was very well constructed, very calmly done. Grifo into Osterhagen, and just watch the way he wraps his boots around it. Hurler on the move. You know, so much to Osterhagen's persistence and Hurler's movement. His 50th goal for Freiburg. Fine week he's had. Become a father again in midweek, but Osterhagen with a lovely turn, super cross, and Hurler's movement across his former teammate Dominic Heinz was excellent. Super assists, and a great piece of the striker's art from Lukas Hurler. It's an excellent goal. Heinz just caught flat-footed, and there's the only goal of the game so far.
This is the DFB Pokal. Drama, excitement, goals. 64 clubs started, only 2 remain, and just one of them will put their name on that trophy. Will it be Bayern? Will it be Stuttgart? The DFB Pokal final kicks off. Two sides that know all about winning this season. Well, Urbig had to make sure he got down for that. Maximilian Mittelstadt. Oliseh's ball for Harry Kane! He's done it! A goal in every round! Oh, there was a big chance. They thought they might have had a corner at the very least. Oh! Harry Kane, he might have another go. Here he comes, Harry Kane again! It's two! That'll do it for Bayern with 10 minutes to play, surely. No way back, Harry Kane, record breaker once more. Oliseh, who's got himself in the box outside of the boot. Big appeal for handball. Referee points to the spot. Harry Kane is on a hat-trick. Is he going to get it? Harry Kane! Of course it is! It could only be the one, the only Harry Edward Kane to make it 3-0. A Bayern hat-trick in the final. Good night, Stuttgart. Bayern München win the double. Harry Kane wins the day. A man of the match performance from the England captain. After 6 years of wandering in the wilderness, Bayern are back on top. The 83rd DFB Pokal is Bayern's. They are back. Back where they believe they belong.
Holstein Kiel sensationally knock out Bayern. Saarbrücken have won it against Bayern.
Crosby, but the goal is open. Can he find it? Oh my word!
This is what the DFB Pokal is all about.
For the first time in 6 years, Bayern have won the DFB Pokal.
HEBC Hamburg have qualified for the DFB Pokal.
They won it again for the third time.
Borussia Dortmund, DFB Cup winners.
It's in! HEBC are running away with it. Into Girassi and scores magnificently.
So let's take a look at the highlights of that first half. And Fortuna Düsseldorf were looking to strike early. Jorrit Hendricks with the throw, and it fell to Tim Oberdorf, who's not a regular goal scorer. He actually struck this pretty well, the centre-back. The pockets of space, got over the top of it, but not quite enough to test the goalkeeper, Mio Backhouse. Wasn't long before Freiburg took control of the contest. Niklas Bester's delivery. Osterhager back in, and it ended up being a header from Ginter, who scored twice on Thursday against Motherwell in the Conference League qualifiers, and Louis Lord on his debut for Fortuna Düsseldorf. Save. Backpedaled really well here, moved his feet, good stop. Save you'd expect him to make, but he still had to make it. But there was genuine momentum for the visitors, who kept pushing and probing and looking for a way through. Vincenzo Grifo found Osterhager, just opened up a bit of space. Lukas Höhler, with excellent centre-forwards movement, scored the opener. It's a goal that felt like it had been coming at that stage. Fortuna caught flat-footed. Höhler with his 6th career goal in the DFB Pokal. 4 of those have come in the first round. Brilliant work from Osterhager. Dominic Heinz completely bamboozled by the movement. Could argue that Benga could have got a bit tighter to Osterhager. Don't think he expected him to be able to get the ball in truth. Whereas Heinz was not on the move. Höhler most certainly was. It's a great goal, it really is. A goal that I think just does underline the gap between the two teams, because Fortuna had no answer to the assist or the goal. It did look as though Freiburg would go on and get a second goal. Kengo once again involved. He has been dangerous down that left-hand side. This pass from Eggestein, outstanding. And Yuito Suzuki denied by a world-class save from Louis Lord. He's kept his team in it, really. Movement from Suzuki outstanding in between defenders. Lord spread himself magnificently. It was the trailing leg that got the contacts. Again, Freiburg playing their way through, finding spaces. Höhler leading the charge. The shot from Osterhager, comfortably dealt with by Louis Lord. Remains 1-0. So Freiburg with the advantage in this game. If we look at some of the other results, it's been a case of the big boys having their own way, really. Eintracht Frankfurt 11-0 winners at St. Turnis. Bayer Leverkusen 4-0 winners at Wien Wiesbaden. Comfortable for Hoffenheim as well. We've not had the Bundesliga team knocked out yet. That's not happened since the 2008-2009 season. Stuttgart, who've been so good in this competition of late, 4-0 victors at Hansa Rostock. Nuremberg needed penalties to see off Victoria Köln. Comfortable win for Werder Bremen at LSK Hansa. Elversberg, the Bundesliga new boys, coming through 3-1 against Duisburg. Hemelingen, who've had some pretty hefty defeats in this competition of late, beaten 9-1 by Hanover. And no problems there for Leipzig. 6-0 winners at Eintracht Trier. And actually Heidenheim, probably the biggest shock. Recent Bundesliga team hammered 5-2 by Jedlo. Elsewhere, Bochum with a narrow victory at Greuther Fürth. Union Berlin, a top-flight club, winning 4-2 at Eintracht Braunschweig. Dynamo Dresden, 6-0 winners at Westfalia Rhinen. Borussia Mönchengladbach of the Bundesliga, 5-0 winners against Schott Mainz. And fellow Bundesliga team Mainz, 9-0 winners at Krzysztof. Paderborn, who've just come up into the Bundesliga. They're 2-1 up at half-time against Phoenix Lübeck. Look elsewhere. St. Pauli 1-0 down at Rot-Weiss Essen. That's a shock in the making. 1-0 at half-time, that one. And later on tonight, Köln go to, or rather tomorrow, Köln go to Würzburg. Hamburg at Werl. Wolfsburg, who relegated last season at Altkliniker Berlin. Schalke, newly into the Bundesliga, away at Hallescher. Not this weekend, but start of September, Borussia Dortmund and Bayern München both in action. Welcome back to our coverage of this DFB Pokal first round tie between third tier Fortuna Düsseldorf and Bundesliga side Freiburg. It's Freiburg who have a 1-0 lead going into the second half. Lukas Höhler with the only goal of the game so far. There he is, Freiburg's number 9. He's got 50 goals in his Freiburg career. Fortuna, the red and white, to get us underway in the second half. Freiburg in their change strip. Fortuna Düsseldorf still in the mix. 1-0 down despite being dominated in that first half. Freiburg have not managed to get the second goal yet. And while that's the case, Fortuna are still alive. As they say in Germany, the cup writes its own rules and anything can happen. Fortuna are going to have to come up with a bit more attacking punch there to upset Julian Schuster's team. No substitutions at half-time. 22 players to start in the first half have started in the second. By Zimmermann to Hotman. Müller had to play that quickly, and did. Couldn't quite get Schleusner in. In their last 7 DFB Pokal campaigns, Fortuna have only faced Bundesliga opposition twice. They've lost both times, including a 3-1 home defeat against Freiburg last season. Hendricks to take the throw. He's launched a few of these into the Freiburg box. Comfortable for Neo Backhouse. Took a chance there, Makengo. It's going to be a corner. Assistance was its own reward there for Zimmermann, who is a real fighter in this team. So much fitness work. He said he has to keep up with the 20-year-olds. He's 34 now, Matthias Zimmermann. Zimbo, as they call him here. Risch standing over this one. He's got Müller for the short one. Change the angle of attack here by Risch. Goalkeeper started to come. It's all a bit of a mess here. Müller just can't clear their lines at the moment. Freiburg. Eventually they do. Suzuki launched it eventually. It's much better from Fortuna Düsseldorf. It's amazing to think that Fortuna were semi-finalists in the Pokal as recently as 2024, although they were thrashed 4-0 by the eventual winners, Bayer Leverkusen. They won this tournament in both 1979 and 1980. To the final another 4 times on top of that, lost all of them. Here's Bester and Grifo! Oh, it's a big chance for him. No one has scored as many goals for Freiburg in all competitions as Vincenzo Grifo, and by his standards that's a poor effort. Got right underneath it. 108 goals he scored for this football club. Records of Niels Petersen last season, which stood at 105. Has recently signed a new contract. They would have played themselves into trouble here. Suzuki is looking for Höhler, and Tim Oberdorf, not for the first time today, coming up with heroics. But that was a mess all of Fortuna's making here. The young goalkeeper, Louis Lord, with the pass that was never on. was really well read by Oberdorf. By Heinz. I mentioned Grifo's contract extension. Said family plays a big role for him. It's a very easy decision. Chance here once again. They've made a mess of it again. Ginter with a great opportunity. They've had two big opportunities and missed them both. Grifo. Suzuki. Now Kubler. Niklas Bester. Kubler's carried on the run. Living on their nerves a bit here, Fortuna. Well, given the goal-scoring form Matthias Ginter's in, having scored twice in Glasgow on Thursday, you'd have thought that he would have buried that chance, but got it all wrong. Suzuki has picked up some really promising positions between the lines this evening. Yuito Suzuki scored against Bayern last season, Japanese player. He's played senior football for his country. Grifo. Quite on the same wavelength. Alexander Ender, the Fortuna coach, took charge in April, failed to keep the club in the second tier. Started his coaching career with a number of youth and assistant roles at Borussia Mönchengladbach. And he had spells with Fortuna Köln, the Val, Preußen Münster. It's his huge job. Iconic football club, great tradition. It's a big responsibility. Oh, Lord has made a mess of that. Here's Grifo, can he punish him? Hurler, good save. Well, he cleaned up his own mess there, the goalkeeper. Freiburg let another big chance slip by. Straight to Grifo. It's a tight offside call, that one. Goalkeeper came up trumps anyway. His team should be 2-0 up at least by now. But they're not. This tie is still alive. Hotzman. For Hendricks, can he get the ball across? He can't. Had he done so, Schleusner was waiting at that far post. Fortuna fans trying to do their bit. Away from Hurler. Good ball to deal with. Müller couldn't find a teammate. Meeting last season between these two, Freiburg won 3-1 here in the second round, was remarkably the first time they'd ever met in the Pokal. They've had 20 meetings in league football and it's a pretty even record. 7 wins for Fortuna, 8 for Freiburg. Only their second clash in this competition. Bester under pressure. Too much pressure, says the referee, from Zasha Rish. ground well there, Bester. He's developed into a fine midfield player, Niklas Bester. He was a left back when he first came through at Werder Bremen. He's a young player. He's enjoying playing further forward these days. Suzuki tried to slip that round the corner to Kubler. Eggestein. It's been a fantastic atmosphere, and more than 3,000 Freiburg fans have contributed. Made the long trip from far south of Germany. At the moment, they're going to have a fun trip back. Done by Hurler, he was looking for Suzuki. Dominic Heinz in the way. Despite his Bundesliga pedigree, Heinz hasn't been nailed on starter the early part of this season. He's brought into the team today. Alexander Ender said it was a tough decision to leave him out of league games. Griefer. It's Lienhardt. Bester. Freiburg pushing for a second. 11 minutes gone in the second half. Suzuki. By Benga. Another of the new signings, Marcel Benga, just come in from Preußen Münster. It's going to take time for this team to gel. So many new faces. Coach is trying to put his stamp on the club. As we know, patience can be in short supply in football. It's a clever ball, but well seen. Not once but twice by Benga. Zimmermann. And again. Well seen by Lienhardt. Centre-backs for Freiburg have been excellent. There's no surprise there, both are internationals. Lienhardt for Austria, Inter for Germany, although not for a while. Fancy footwork that led to nothing, really. As Osterhager wins the free kick. I mentioned it's been a while since Matthias Ginter played for Germany. Jurgen Klopp getting the nod as Germany coach might just have rekindled that spark for Ginter. Said he hasn't given up on getting a recall for Germany at some stage. Can Freiburg find that second goal that will just give them a measure of serenity and comfort? Grifo's delivery. Too delicate. You can't say Fortuna Düsseldorf haven't been competitive. Dug in. Going to make some changes here. Paulina float. Slow to natural replacement for Rish, and Paulina Curaçao international on for Hotman, who's lacked service this evening. Came in from Borussia Dortmund in January, Jordi Paulina. Break, Jordi Paulina came playing for an amateur team against Ajax in the Dutch Cup. Played for UPS Hercules. They knocked out the Amsterdam Giants, and Paulina set up one of the goals. Put out a post about it on social media that went viral, and suddenly had interest from clubs all over the Netherlands. Here he is playing for a big club in Germany. Change quickly. An hour gone. Determined run. It's just behind intended target. Seen by Overdorf. Here's Benga. In front of that back line for the most part. Fortuna just trying to hang in there. One of the biggest problems Fortuna have had in this second half has actually been when the ball's been at the feet of the goalkeeper. Get the sense he's being asked to play a certain way by Alexander Ender. But he's given the ball away in some really dangerous situations. Tidied up there by Oosterhager under pressure. It's Grifo. Well retrieved by Müller. They're still very much in this, the third tier team. 2 defeats in 2 in the Dritte Liga, but more competitive here. To Oosterhager. Suzuki. That's a clever ball through, and it needed covering. Van der Sloot across to deal with the danger. Freiburg fans making their presence felt. Kubler out jumped. Back in with pace, and nobody latched onto it. Philipp Lienhardt, who just decided to go for broke and fire it in there. I've only needed a touch. Everywhere they go, those Freiburg fans adds to the flavour of the occasion. Been all over Europe in the last few seasons. Been to Berlin for the final of this competition just a few seasons ago. They would love to return to that showpiece occasion in the German capital. mighty close to getting there last season, beaten at last. Stuttgart's Tomasz with a late winner in the semi-final. Got to dig in a bit here against determined opponents, 2 levels below them. The Slotes, the throw. Kengo wasn't quite sure where that was. Here's again Van der Sloot. That's a good delivery. Dominic Heinz! Wow, that would have been a big surprise. In 90 appearances with Freiburg, he only ever scored once. In his entire senior career, he's only scored 4 times. So if that had flown into the top corner, it would have been a truly magic moment. The DFB Pokal. Really risky from Backhouse. Müller. It's opened up here, Andreas Müller! It's one of the clearest sights of goal they've had. And the new signing was denied. Just couldn't quite wrap his boots around it. Does feel like Fortuna are building up towards a big finish. Still in this game. Those goalkeepers have had shaky moments with the ball at their feet. Backhouse is confident on the ball, but he does take risks. We saw that at Werder Bremen last season. Made a few mistakes, got his team into trouble. He's got a test here, and as you can see, he's a confident young man. Seemed like a late challenge, and indeed was. We had a couple of challenges to choose from there. It's Makengo. He's been a willing runner on that left-hand side. Suzuki quite catch up with it. Hurler, space to drive into there. Hurler is Bester. Hurler, Grifo, good save by Louis Lords. How many times down the years have we seen Grifo find the far corner in that kind of position? But the young goalkeeper read it so well. Yet again, Freiburg failed to score the seconds. It's a really good stop. Had to stretch, had to react. Bester to take. We're in the final quarter of the contest. Good shape on that. Referee gives the goal kick. Changes here. Are changes of quality for Freiburg. Igor Matanovic, who played for Croatia at the World Cup, is going to come on. Derry Sherhans as well. They're really going for it here. Matanovic, who scored in this fixture in the second round last season against Fortuna. So Matanovic on for Suzuki. He'll pair up with Hurler. Sherhans will replace Grifo out wide. Former Hertha Berlin player Derry Sherhans. Suzuki, who was on a yellow card. As for Matanovic, he was a really big hit last season, having come in from Eintracht Frankfurt. Got 15 goals in all competitions. Just confirmation of those changes at the top left of your screen. Sherhans and Bester over it. Sheehan takes. It's a rather hopeful flick from Kubler. Mentioned that brace he got in the second leg of the semi-final against Braga. He's never been a regular goal scorer, Kubler. It's a true fairy tale for Freiburg that night. He's a player that really does deserve plaudits because he's come back from 2 serious knee injuries. Really had to work hard to get into the Freiburg team. He's closing in on 250 games for the club. Free kick for the visitors. Yellow card. It's flashed at Zimmerman. It's late on Matanovic. Clumsy, nothing more than that. Here's Zimmerman. Freiburg fans trying to roar their team home. 20 minutes to go. Sheehan's delivery! And a free header for Igor Matanovic, who has done the damage against Fortuna again. He scored in round 2 against them last season, and he might just have scored the goal that powers Freiburg into the next round. It's second goal that's been on the cards, and finally it has arrived. Igor Matanovic. It's a lovely delivery. And they just could not live with him. Benga tried to rise highest, but Matanovic, once he got position, once he got the advantage, felt like he was never going to miss. Towering header for a man who played for Croatia at the World Cup finals. Changes here for Fortuna Düsseldorf as they try and rescue the game. Taken off. Bushama and Benga. Balls on first step. Gonçalves. Gonçalves, who is a Luxembourg international. Philip Förster is one of the more eye-catching signings they've made in the summer. And Freiburg again looking for more goals. Makengo. He's found Eggestein. That's neat and tidy. That ran loose and was struck beautifully by Ginter. Hit that much better than the chance he had in the early part of the second half. That been destined for the bottom corner. Louis Lord was not getting there. Confirmation of those Fortuna changes. Gonçalves on for Shama. Making way. They're lining up here, it could be another one, and it is. Lukas Kubler with the final touch. Fortuna furious, but Freiburg are serenely cruising into round 2. And Lukas Kubler can celebrate. And it's a long way back now for Fortuna Düsseldorf. Sheehan's again involved. And the goalkeeper touched it onto Kubler. Came off the head from my point of view. He did it. He certainly leans into it. That's why Louis Lord was complaining. He felt it was handball. It's not convincing goalkeeping. That's the truth of it. And either way, it's Lukas Kubler's goal. Freiburg surely now home and hosed. Fortuna have tried to live with them. Well, maybe Molina will make something happen. He's won a corner at very least. There's a loss of concentration there. Ginter was making the point that once again Backhouse was playing his team into a bit of trouble. There on that, and they've got one back. It's Schleusener against his former club. A ray of light in the gloom for Fortuna. He scored in his debut for the club, Fabian Schleusener, and he has another goal here. 3-1. Held his position really well here. Good strength. Couldn't get to him. Strong connection. Backhouse couldn't react in time. Get the sense if he stays fit, Fabian Schleusener could have a really good season for Fortuna. There's every reason to think at third tier level he can profit. Gesture of defiance from the Dritte Liga team. Call. Well, he's lacked service today, Fabian Schleusener, and he's shown that when he gets it, he can make things happen. It's been an evening for centre forwards. 3 of the 4 goals we've seen come from strikers. It's one for Sherhan to chase. Change here, Freiburg. We're going to bring on Cyriac Uriye, Burkina Faso international. Freiburg's fine run in the first round set to continue. Certainly never looked in trouble this evening. The goal came to put them 1-0 up. It was a goal that had been coming. And Fortuna have held their ground for a big chunk of the game. It was no big surprise when the second Freiburg goal came. About taking the positives out of this for Alexander Ender and Fortuna. Certainly defended diligently at times. Even though he's made mistakes on the ball, Louis Lord has made some impressive saves. Work rate's been there. Kubler finding Osterhager. You're talking about a team that's very much a top half team in German top flight, so it's a big gap between Fortuna and Freiburg. It's true last season when Freiburg won 3-1 here, and certainly still true now. Matanovic, great ball, Makengo, he's in for 4, and it is Jordi Makengo with his first ever goal for Freiburg. And that wraps up a superb display. Another crushing blow for Fortuna. And a special moment for Jordi Makengo. It's beautifully worked. Sharehands involved again. Matanovic with great awareness of where Makengo was. And he just waited and waited for the goalkeeper to advance. And for a guy who's never scored a goal for Freiburg, that was taken beautifully. The goal comes in his 79th game for the club. By extension, his first ever goal in the DFB Pokal. Midst of all that hubbub, Syriac Irie came on, as did the veteran Christian Günther. He's come to this right-hand side. It's on for Bester. The one for Kubler. That goal for Kubler, by the way, only his second ever in the DFB Pokal. The first one came 12 years ago. Scored for Sandhausen in 2014. 4-1 defeats. Well, here are the goals that have really wrapped things up. Matanovic with the header. Kubler forcing that one home. Schleusener got one back for Fortuna. And Matanovic, having scored a goal, then made a goal for Jordi Makengo. Makengo replaced by Günther. Change for Fortuna as well. They've taken off the industrious Andreas Müller and brought on Anas Slimani. It's a Fortuna youth product. His third appearance for the club, just 19. It's going to be 3 competitive defeats to start the season for Fortuna Düsseldorf. Twice in the Dritte Liga, beaten heavily in the Pokal. Freiburg, it's 2 wins to start the season, and both away from home. Motherwell in the Conference League, and now Fortuna in the Pokal, barring the great miracles of Pokal history. Here is Slimani, and the slopes, just too long for Schleusener. Irie should deal with the danger and does. It's another tough one to take for Fortuna fans who've seen their team fall hard in recent seasons. Impossible to compute that just over a year ago they were knocking on the door of the Bundesliga. And here they are, the 3rd tier of German football. Such can be the cruelty of the sport. It's one of the things that makes it so fascinating. Irie. quite happen for him last season, Cyriac Irie. There's a lot more to come from him, you suspect. Had some injury problems and didn't manage to nail down a place as a first-team regular. Troyes. There's talent there. Just hasn't been able to consistently show it yet. Well, there's always consolation to be found somewhere. It's made me rather hungry, I must admit. Eggestein. It's Hurler. It's a bit short for him. Just invited the challenge, but Matanovic has come out of it really well. He looks razor sharp, Matanovic. There's Irie, that's lovely. Cyriac Irie. Share hands. Tidied up by Eggestein. They want 5 here, Freiburg. Punched by Lord when it could have been caught. And in the final 5 minutes, they're not really showing much in the way of mercy, as we see Samir Arabi there, the sporting director of Fortuna. He's overseen a big rebuild here over the summer, and Lucas Hurler, having scored the opening goal, is going to make way. He's going to be replaced by Keisuke Goto, who is a Japanese striker who's just arrived. Sherhan's header, well off target. Yeah, Goto's an interesting one. He came from Anderlecht in the summer, scored in his debut against Motherwell on Thursday. As Hurler makes way. Goto scored a very late goal against Motherwell, and then he completely caught his teammates by surprise, because after the full-time whistle he got a rubbish bag out and he cleaned up the Freiburg bench. Julian Schuster, his coach, was very impressed. He said, it's a shining example of how to behave. We're going to show it to all of our academy players. He said most players would have been posting about their goal on social media, but instead he cleaned up the bench. Here's Sherhands. He's found Günther. Here's Paulina. He's looked lively since coming on, some nice moments. It's all part of an effort that they hope will end in promotion. It's been a sticky start for Fortuna. It's one of the 3 big carnival cities in Germany, Düsseldorf. There's not been much to celebrate so far. Carnivals really get going until the early part of next year. Van der Sloot's cross, well dealt with by Kubler. By the time Carnival reaches its height, they're in a much better position. Slimani with the decision given against him. Yet more frustration for Alexander Ender. It's going to be 3 defeats on the spin to start the season. But it was a vote of confidence to keep him after he oversaw relegation. Slimani, why not? Beaten away by Mio Backhouse. Could have been a lovely moment for the teenager. Ticking towards the final minute of the 90. Freiburg striding into round 2. By Oberdorf. Whistle has gone. That goal is not going to count. Lienhardt, who's down. Whistle had gone well before the shot was struck. It's a clear foul. With clearance before he was caught by Slimani. This was the youngster's effort. Decent save that by Backhouse. He watched it onto his gloves. They did have twin competitions, the Cup and the League, but it's going to be down to one competition for Fortuna after this. Promotion, the only thing on the agenda. Four additional minutes we will have. We're into the first of those. It's a bit loose from Heinz, and they're asking the question about back pass. Wasn't the greatest play. Paulina. Barring a complete collapse, Freiburg will see off Motherwell and make it through to the league phase of the Conference League. Making progress in this tournament as well. Sharehands ran out of real estate, but he's had a really good cameo, Derry Sharehands, since coming on. Involved in the second goal and the third goal. It's a great run by Förster. He's one of the most eye-catching summer signings, actually, the number 10, Philipp Förster. Just signed from Karlsruhe, but he's got Bundesliga experience at Stuttgart and Bochum. It's a surprise to see him playing at third-tier level, but does just underline what I was saying earlier about Fortuna being quite a big draw. They are a big traditional club. Players like Förster, who you wouldn't usually see below the top two divisions, drawn to play for them. The drawback about being an iconic traditional club is that everybody targets you. Here's Keisuke Goto. Late corner for the Bundesliga team. We're nearly there. Might be the final chance for Freiburg to their score. Delivery by Zimmermann. Shahan's to deliver again. Again, Zimmermann is there. It's like a training exercise at the moment. Had a lovely trip north from the Black Forest. Fun on the way back down as well. Heads went up, and it's another one. Matanovic again. What a game he's had. Scored two. He's made a goal as well. He's come back from the World Cup in razor-sharp form. And it is 5-1 in Freiburg's favour. And now the fans do start to head for the exits. And that is the final flourish for Freiburg. They go through to round 2 in style. They turned on the offensive power after half-time. As we see Matanovic nod home number 5. They were already 1-0 up at half-time through Lukas Hurler's goal. Matanovic with the towering header made it 2-0. And Lukas Kubler added the third. Fabian Schleusener came up with a gesture of defiance for the home side to make it 3-1. But then a first ever Freiburg goal from Jordi Makengo restored the 3-goal advantage. And Matanovic with the final flurry. He was one of the stars. And the third-tier team, Fortuna Düsseldorf, with a heavy defeat. Julian Schuster's men showing very little mercy. For Fortuna, it's about trying to take some positives out of it. But they have been beaten by Freiburg by 5-1. That is indeed the final score. Fortuna Düsseldorf 1, Freiburg 5. So a pretty comprehensive victory for Freiburg, and you look at all of the metrics, an XG of 3.82. They scored 5 goals from that, 10 shots on target. Fortuna were up against it for most of the game, although there was a big chunk of time when they were only 1-0 down and they had their moments, but it's no surprise really that Freiburg ran away with it in the closing stages. They were the better team from the get-go, really. Fortuna were physical. Let's take a look at the highlights then, and there were plenty of them from a Freiburg point of view. Grifo finding Osterhage. His cross met by Lukas Hurler for the opening goal. Hurler's 50th goal in Freiburg colours. For a long time it was still 1-0, but Derry Scherhans came on as a sub, and he found his fellow substitute Igor Matanovic to head home number 2. Freiburg always in control from that moment on. Scherhans involved in number 3. The ball was headed across for Lukas Kubler to touch in. A rare goal for the right back, his first in this competition for 12 years. Was at least a goal for Fortuna to cheer. And it was Fabian Schleusener against his former club. Scored in his debut for Fortuna in the league, and now he scored in the cup for them as well. And Jordi Makengo, who'd been excellent in the game, teed up by Matanovic. And how's this for a calm finish for a guy who had never previously scored for the club? First ever Freiburg goal for Jordi Makengo. It was time to rub further salt into the wounds. Scherhans again with the delivery, only half cleared, and there was Matanovic to score his second. And Freiburg's 5th. What a cameo from him. So Freiburg through to round 2, and their love affair with the DFB Pokal shows no signs of stopping. They have made it through to the semi-finals, at least in 3 of the last 5 seasons. And they're off and running here. The final score, Fortuna Düsseldorf 1, Freiburg 5.